Hey everyone, welcome back to Keeping Up with the Chaldeans. I'm Anthony Toma, your host. Today we're here with Mark Adamo, very longtime friend, CFL star, now owner of Sidecar, First Cut, and Shift.
Yep.
Sprinkled all over the Michigan area.
Absolutely.
Welcome to the show, Mark. Thanks for joining us. Why don't you start off by talking about any one of these new projects that you're in?
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me. As you mentioned, Sidecar, it's a pretty well-known brand now in the Metro Detroit area. We have 7 locations. I'm actually a partner directly at the Grosse Pointe and Sterling Heights locations. Obviously, I'm more of an East Sider when it comes to the Chaldean terms, so I figured those are 2 great areas for me to be involved in as we were expanding the brand.
Sure.
And all of our concepts are kind of dual concept for the most part. So in Grosse Pointe, we have Sidecar as the main brand, and then we also have a Shift there as well.
Okay.
Very similar to our Birmingham location, where you kind of can walk in and choose your adventure. Do I want cocktail lounge and
And they're connected.
hang out? And they're connected at the back, but the unique thing about Grosse Pointe is they actually each have their own main front door. So like you kind of feel like you're in a completely different space.
Gotcha.
Which is really nice. And then our Sterling Heights brand has a Sidecar as the main brand, and then we actually for the first time launched what's called First Cut Golf Co., and it's an indoor golf simulator. The shirt that I'm wearing here today. So we know there's a ton of indoor golf simulators out there, and there's a ton that really cater to like the avid golfer, like bag in the trunk everywhere they go. They're ready to golf any chance they get.
Yeah.
So we wanted to cater to that crowd, but we also wanted to cater to the casuals. I'd consider myself a casual. I think I've been on 10 golf courses my whole life.
Okay.
So I'll swing a club, but I'm not good, and I enjoy doing it if it's the right setting. But we have 3 extra large bays, so you don't feel congested at all. You don't feel like you're stuffed into some of these golf simulators that you go out there and see where like they cram in 10 across, a 50-foot wall, where you'll notice in our space, they're extremely large, very open. You almost feel like you're standing on the course with how much space we gave each bay. Nice. We actually only put 3 in the entire space. And then there's more of a lounge setting that kind of sits right up behind it. So we could just go hang out. Maybe you have a buddy that's, swinging clubs. Maybe we step in here and there. There's a lot of things you can do. You don't have to just go there and actually do a full round of 18 holes. You can play games and have some fun and just really enjoy the space.
What's the I guess the reservation process?
So as of right now, you can go right to our website, firstcutgolfco.com, and you can book your tee times. We have half-hour blocks. They go in half-hour blocks. Our pricing changes throughout the week. You have your kind of peak times and off-peak times. We do specials during the summer because you're competing with the good weather as well. So right now, you can get in for as little as like $40 for the hour if you wanted to do a regular bay. If you wanted our private bay, you're in like the 60 to 70 range. Okay. So we have 4 total. The private bay is a really cool space where 10 to 12 guests can come in. You have a really large lounge, and then you also have the same extra large simulator setup. You can have up to 6 golfers in the private room. You can have up to 4 golfers in the traditional bays.
Okay. So you just bring your clubs.
Bring your clubs. We have some clubs there if you want. If you want to use our clubs. They're not, they're not going to be fitted to you and, custom made, obviously. So if you've got your own clubs, we highly, encourage you to bring in your own clubs because that's what you're going to be most comfortable shooting with. We have the newest TrackMan technology, so there's no weird boxes in front or behind you when you're golfing. It's completely open. All of the technology is in the ceiling using infrared and cameras to track your swing, club speed. If you wanted to actually go there and you and one other friend and just practice. It has all of the artificial intelligence tools built into it. So it'll actually show you your swing in super slow motion. You can put your swing side by side with a current pro on tour and see how they come back compared to how you come back. It'll plot the lines on your shoulders and wrists so you see if you're breaking your wrist or if you're turning. So you can technically treat it like a golf session instead of paying a pro. For those people who have already done some sessions with a pro and kind of have those key tips in their mind of like, I remember they told me
elbow,
this.
head down. This,
so now they can see themselves doing it and correct on the spot without having to constantly pay for a pro. Not saying that you shouldn't get a pro.
Of course.
If you really want to get better, you should train and you should hire somebody. But this could be a really nice piece that plays into your overall golf game.
Especially if you could see what you're doing and it's taped and you can replay it and back it up. And
Yeah, you get a whole basically front back view of your entire swing played out in super slow motion. It's pretty cool.
You have people there that kind of help navigate the technology?
Yeah, so my two partners are there running the Sterling Heights location. Both, avid golfers. We've had a couple of local pros come through and provide all tips. Like they've gone through the whole setup and kind of explained the best way they see it to be used to really help somebody, pick up the game or just kind of refine their game. Because here in Michigan, we know it's tough, like kind of starting right now. Like today, I have a light jacket that I put on. I wasn't expecting to have to wear it this soon, but it starts to get cold. Golf courses shut down. You want to be able to keep refining your game. You don't want to wake up in the spring and have to kind of relearn everything, especially for the guy or gal that doesn't regularly golf and can really lose anything they gained over the winter months.
What about like parties and stuff like that, events?
Huge space. We did a couple of corporate events when we first opened.
Oh, corporate would be huge.
Yeah, it went really well, and actually I loved the way the setup was, so I actually did my wife's 40th birthday there.
Oh, nice.
Brought in a violinist. He was playing. We basically set him up right in the middle of the 3 bays. I had a slideshow playing in the background. So basically it's floor to ceiling screen.
Yeah.
So I had a slideshow playing in the background of all of our family picks and friends and things like that. The violinist playing, and we basically just let guests flow through the whole entire space. In the private room, we actually set up a Nintendo Switch, and we were doing like Mario Kart and Super Smash Brothers, and you could do kids parties. I mean, the adults I think had more fun in that time that we were there. But it's an awesome space. You can lounge, you can stand, you can sit at the bar. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity there. Where's
it located exactly? And then kind of give us some landmarks too.
Yeah. So we are right on the corner of Hall Road and Hayes. We are seated directly behind the Sherwin-Williams and CVS there on the corner. So we would technically be the southwest corner of Hall Road and Hayes.
What was the location formerly?
It was a Tilted Kilt.
Oh, no
actually
way.
Chaldean owned.
Yeah. Nate and Nolan Karumi.
Yeah, so they're
CFL legends.
Nate was my coach, when I was in the league.
Nate.
He's a good man. I actually talked to him a little bit before we opened up. He gave me the lay of the land in terms of the area. It's a phenomenal area, tons of traffic. Obviously, I'd love to see more of our people in that space too, because I know our people love to go out. They love to have a good time. In that lounge setting, like you don't have to golf actually. My favorite way to use the bays, because they're there, is I'll actually throw the Lions game on. And you can watch the Lions game on a 200-inch screen.
Yeah.
And you can actually still swing golf balls into the screen while you're watching the Lions, because every bay has its own 36-inch monitor that still has all of the golf information on it.
Oh, wow.
So you could technically play a full round of golf while watching the Lions game or U of M, Michigan State, whatever sporting event you want to watch.
And so Sidecar and First Cut are in that same space?
They're in the same space.
You split it?
Yep, we split it.
Oh, and then and there's access to both.
There's access to both. So very similar to Birmingham and some of our other locations, when you walk into Sterling Heights, you're going to end up being, greeted by a beautiful bar, a huge, horseshoe-shaped bar. TVs that wrap around the entire inner of the bar. It almost feels like you're sitting in an arena looking up at the Jumbotron. And then you can either dine with us at Sidecar and enjoy the Sidecar offerings. We have 2 large projectors at Sidecar, plus another like 50 plus TVs. So sporting events and, just being able to treat it like a sports bar, that's your option. We also have a little mini game room in the back. We're kind of known as the family place during the day. Parents use the game room as like a babysitter. They let their kids go have fun while they sit down and have a drink and just eat. Or you can kind of talk to the host, and then you can enter through 2 doors and enter the First Cut concept, which is going to be the indoor golf simulator.
But it's open now.
It's open, yeah. We opened in April.
I heard you say it's going to be, but no, it is. All right, that's cool. So we're trying to attract who?
Our people. We're trying to attract everybody, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
It's been awesome since we've opened. We knew opening in April in Michigan, the indoor golf simulator wasn't going to be like a line out the door. The Sidecar brand has obviously gotten a really big following in that area. I know our people definitely know Sidecar and Shift when it comes to our Birmingham location, which is the flagship, and it's what started the brand ultimately. But we offer these really cool concepts, obviously, across the Metro Detroit area. And I think for a lot of our people right in the backyard, We also have a shift in Plymouth. We have a Sidecar there as well. We have a Farmington location. We have a location in Lansing and Brighton. So we're kind of scattered all around the Metro Detroit area. You'll be able to see it all on our website. But I'm personally involved at Sterling Heights and Grosse Pointe.
So Sidecar in Birmingham was a real tiny location.
Yeah, it was connected to a Rojo Mexican bistro back in the day.
And then it moved now to
Willits.
With the Willits, and it's a lot bigger, but it's not. Well, I guess it is because Slice, that is the backside.
Yeah, which for the most part gets used with Sidecar as well.
Yep.
So it's just a really cool, unique space they have there on the corner. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then you have there you really have a choose your own adventure because you walk in one door, but then you really have to split off. You either go left for shift or right for Sidecar.
Right. So for our folks that are on the east side and Sterling Heights area, what that haven't been to a Sidecar, to explain what, and you kind of already touched on it, but give them hey, come in and watch the World Series chasing Tigers now,
the Tigers doing
Lions
well now.
games. What about like fantasy draft parties or red zone and all that good stuff? You have all that stuff going on in there?
My nephew did his fantasy draft in our private golf simulator room. They casted their computer onto the screen as they were all making their picks. Wow. They even put a board up on the wall, and you can kind of get that secluded space where like you can kind of feel like you're in your own private basement or whatever.
Yeah.
Man cave, and you could basically come in just for, like I said, you can come in and treat it like a family restaurant. We know a lot of our community obviously have kids, young ones. Sometimes like I didn't want to go out to eat with my kids when they were a certain age. They're at an age now where it's a lot easier to deal with. But when you're in that like 2 to 4 range and like they're very energetic and anything could turn it into a bad outing.
Sure.
It's nice having the game room set up. Like there's some games that are more geared towards adults, like Golden Tee and basketball, and then we also have the claw games and things that kids can really enjoy.
Okay, cool.
So it's a family restaurant during the day, or it could be your local dive bar during the day. Like the bar is huge and it's kind of separated a little bit from the main seating of the restaurant. So you can almost feel like you're in 2 places at once. And that's how all of our locations are set up.
And the ceilings are so high, and there's
super tall. Yeah.
There's white noise going on in the background, so the kids aren't really disturbing anyone if they're yelling or screaming or yelling.
I mean, the adults yell and scream more because we pump in game sound for the big games: Tigers, baseball, Lions, U of M, Michigan State. I mean, if there's a bunch of Central fans in there and there's a Central game on, like we'll pump the game sound in for that as well. So the entire restaurant feels like you're in fully emerged in the setting of watching the Lions game.
Yeah.
So anytime there's a first down, like people are cheering and celebrating. Like,
oh yeah.
Grosse Pointe is kind of unique because Grosse Pointe's kind of small on the Sidecar side. I have 20 tables and then I have 18 seats at the bar. So that one's kind of very intimate. And when you have the game sound on for the Lions, I mean, you literally feel like you're sitting in like the club level seating at the Lions games, watching the game. Every first down, every big play, I mean, you're feeling it.
Yep. Well, I think both kind of cater to its town. Like Sterling Heights is ginormous and big, and
everything's big on Hall Road. Yeah.
And then Grosse Pointe is a little quaint, and
it's more of your downtown boutique style restaurant. Yeah.
I think it's a genius move on your part, the way you kind of set that up. I like I really like the size and the location of that. The parking is,
on-site parking
wide
anywhere you
open,
want. Yep.
in the Sterling area. How many TVs do you have there?
I think the last time I counted, we've added a few more, but in Sterling Heights we're over 70 TVs in Sterling Heights.
So every view is you're going to see everything everywhere.
You're covered with TVs anywhere you're sitting.
Yeah.
And then obviously if you're on the golf simulator side, not only do we have TVs up on the walls in between, but then you also have the massive projectors that are powering the golf bays. Like I said, that many of our customers are actually like, if college Saturdays, even if they're games they don't really care about, we can throw on the quad box with YouTube TV and have them golf. Just practice their swings while they're watching 4 different college games. And it doesn't feel like it does on like a 65 or 70-inch TV where like every box becomes tiny and they don't even know what you're seeing. Like
Right.
each box is like its very own 100-inch, projector screen.
Yeah. That's
So
crazy.
it's pretty unique. It's a lot of fun.
Let's talk about the menu.
Yeah. So Sidecar, which is, as I mentioned, kind of your American style restaurant. We're featured for our sliders. The concept my partner came up with when he started it, Steve Simon and Dan Lennon, they basically, they always went out to eat. They always get a burger. You get one burger, right?
Yeah.
It's $12 to $18 depending on where you go, and nowadays, factoring in COVID, it's $18 to $22 for a single burger, and that's it. You can get a little creative with it if you want, but with us, what we wanted is you basically come in, you get 2, 3, or even 4 sliders.
Yeah.
So you're kind of getting like 4 separate little individual meal options.
Yeah.
Our most popular is our drive-through, which is kind of a play on a Big Mac. You have your special sauce, lettuce, pickle,
Yep.
Cheeseburger. My personal favorite, and people always, like when I tell them to order this, they're always kind of like weirded out by it, but then once they get it, it becomes immediately one of their favorites. It's the PB and Jammin'. It's got peanut butter and jelly on a American cheese slider. It's very unique, but it goes together so well, and people don't want to like it, and they end up loving it.
Say that again.
PB and Jammin'. So you have peanut butter and jelly on a cheeseburger slider with bacon.
Really?
Yeah, it's incredible. If you haven't tried one, you have to try it. I'll buy you your first PB and Jammin'.
All right.
And then outside of the sliders, I can go on. There's over 20 variations of sliders, and then you can obviously customize a little bit too if you want. You can substitute chicken or veggie patty. So we do cater to those who don't eat meat. So we have the Impossible meat blend that we season and cook separately, and you can have your burger that way as well.
Yep.
But then we do pizzas, brick oven pizzas. So they're not like you're just afterthought on the menu. Like we actually have the brick oven. We make our own dough in house. We make our own sauce.
Wow.
Everything's done in house there. And then we have maybe I'm biased, but what I think to be some of the best chicken tenders you can get. Not overly breaded to where like every bite you take, like you're having to chew through so much breading just to get to the chicken.
Yep.
It's a perfect combo of breading and chicken, and they're all hand dipped fresh and fried to order, so you're not getting something that's been sitting in a freezer for a while.
Nice. What about the hours?
The hours, our claim to fame in just about every community that we're in is we're one of the latest kitchens available, because that's kind of our concept, right?
Yeah.
That varies wildly. Birmingham and Sterling Heights, 2 a.m. every
Okay.
single day, right? Grosse Pointe, the city closes at like 7:42.
Yeah.
We stay open until about 10.
Okay.
People always joke around, the sidewalks are getting rolled up at about 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
But we're still one of the latest kitchens available in the area. We're one of the few places that are open 7 days a week in Grosse Pointe as well. A lot of places will close either Sunday, Monday. Where with us, we're open 7 days a week. During the week, we're open until 10 p.m. and then on the weekends, we're open until midnight.
Okay.
And we'll keep the bar going until 2 a.m. every night if people want to hang out, watch TV, and drink.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How much staff do you have in the Sterling Heights location?
Sterling Heights right now, when you factor in kind of back of house, front of house, my partners handle, I'd say 95% of all the managing responsibilities.
Yep.
So we're probably at about 25, 30 employees all in.
That's a lot.
And then Grosse Pointe, we have about another 25 there.
Yeah. So what's special about the bartenders? What do they know?
Yeah.
Bartender's going to make or break the bar area.
Yeah, for sure. Our specialty cocktails, I think people are really kind of, happy about. We take an infused approach. It's not, coming out with, burnt wood smoke. And we have the machine to do it, but that's not what we try to put forward. We do fresh squeeze. We do our own infusions. We infuse our alcohols. So a lot of our specials that you'll find on the menu are coming with something that the bartender is actually prepping on a daily basis to make for that particular drink. It's not just, hey, here's this syrup or juice out of a bottle or the gun, plus alcohol and ice. Like there's thought that's going into each one of those craft cocktails where there's a lot of preparation that goes into it. The garnish has been thought about. On the first cut side, my partner John did some amazing, drinks where, these ones get a little more fancy. Got a little bit of egg white in there. It gets real frothed up. He puts a lime on it with a Hole 18 flag poked into a lime that floats, so it just looks like a
that's cool.
Floating flag in the drink. I mean, once again, we can get really out there and creative, and then you can also come in and get a Tito's on the rocks, or I think for our people, it was Grey Goose.
What are some of the must-try cocktails at Sidecar?
The Color Red is a super popular one.
What's that made up of? Do you know?
Yeah, so it's got your fresh squeezed, strawberry and raspberry juices in there.
Oh, shit.
We have traditionally, depends on what you want. You can pick your own vodka, but we normally serve La French in there.
Oh, nice.
We have a Kiwi Kilpatrick.
Shout out to La French.
Yes, shout out to La French.
Honey me, baby.
We have a Kiwi Kilpatrick, which it's got kiwi, it's got alcohol. And once again, it's an infused kiwi syrup that goes in there, so it's not just kiwi flavoring or whatever. So you actually get the real flavor and the taste in the drink.
What about the beers? How are you serving the beers? Very important at a sports bar.
Yeah, for sure. We keep our tap system state of the art, up to date, cleaned. I think that's the biggest thing that people don't really think about. Like we get them regularly cleaned. You may not notice it, but if you come enough, or if you go to one place enough, you can start to tell when it's like, I think it's been a while, potentially, if you're a beer drinker.
Yeah.
The hopes is you would never get to that. You would never know that coming to our restaurant, whether it's your first day or your 25th day in a row, you're not going to notice. But Sterling Heights, we have an opportunity where we serve 25 beers on tap. A lot of our other brands will be between 8 and 10. I think the craft beer craze is kind of like dissipated, and now we honestly cater to the community. Like my general manager at Grosse Pointe is constantly asking the people at the bars, like, what do you want to see on tap? We have your staples, Modelo, your Bud Lights, your Coors Lights. Like we have the staples that are always going to be available at any bar. And then the other, 3 to 5, whatever the customers want to see, we'll bring it in.
That's awesome. Are they big, little, small?
Both sizes.
Yeah. Okay.
We normally serve in a standard pint glass.
Okay.
You can get a tall glass too if you want.
Get it chilled?
The glasses come out of a freezer, so we have freezers dedicated behind the bar that just have glasses sitting inside of them.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Hey, so for all of our people that are watching, do you want to make them a special offer to kind of check you guys out?
Absolutely. For Sterling Heights and Grosse Pointe, if you come in and mention Keeping Up with the Chaldeans, we can do a free appetizer for you guys to give us a try. And then for First Cut Golf, I'll be glad to do half off your first round of golf at First Cut Golf. Just mention Keeping Up with the Chaldeans. And
so you don't want people to, how our Chaldean people are. They'll keep coming back. Do you mind if they keep coming back, or how are you going to keep track of them?
I mean, we're not going to track it. This isn't scientific. I know our people are very trustworthy and holy people, so I know they're not going to take advantage of me. Yeah. So half off your first round. Well, we're a family place, right? So we're going to recognize you when you come back in. We're going to thank you for giving us another shot. So, we'll make sure the experience is great.
The new cheers of Sidecars.
Yeah, the cheers of Sidecars.
Yeah, where everybody knows your names.
Yeah, the norms.
Yep.
I'd love to have some Chaldean norms, that's for sure.
For sure.
I know a couple norms.
Yeah. Do you have any special events coming up or anything?
Yeah. We're trying to, as I mentioned, you hear me say the word catering to a lot. So we're trying to cater to our people, but all customers alike. And we're trying to cater to the communities. I know in the kind of Sterling Heights area, there's a big need now that the season's winding down. A lot of places have beautiful patios. People know where I'm talking about, and they like to go celebrate their parties, celebrate events, hang out. It's a fun environment. But some of that stuff goes away now as you roll into the fall and the winter. So we're trying to cater to that crowd in our First Cut side, more of a lounge feeling. Like we can even turn off the golf simulators, put sporting events on in the background, and then ultimately have a DJ come in. We're looking and we're eyeing Saturdays as being a really fun, cool night for that, or even Thursdays to kind of kick off the weekend, because I feel like a lot of the places that are established, like where you're going Friday night, probably by the time you get to your third finger, like, all right, it's one of these 3 places potentially if I'm going to go out.
Yep.
And same for maybe Saturday. So I don't know how well we're going to fit into that rotation. So we're trying to offer something a little different, maybe even a Thursday to kind of get people out and about to kick the weekend off. So bringing in a live DJ, setting them up in the middle bay.
Okay.
Bringing in a live DJ at Shift in Grosse Pointe, setting them up in the corner at Grosse Pointe, and kind of just, if the crowd wants to party and dance, well, the DJ will cater to that. If the crowd just wants casual, cool, like I'm here to actually talk and hang out with my friends and have a good time and drink, then the DJ will cater to that. We're a little bit fluid there in the sense of like, we're not going to force the experience onto the guest. We'd like the guests to help make the experience.
Gotcha. What else do we need to cover that we didn't bring up? I know we covered a lot of the menu and the hours and the location. And what about recruiting help?
Yeah.
Would you want some of our community to come in and apply, right?
Yeah, I would love our community that wants to be in the restaurant business. It's a great business. Just a quick little history. Like, I was in the restaurant business for 10 years. I ended up getting out of the business and kind of going into the sales route and sales leadership route. And came back in about 2 years ago now. It's a phenomenal atmosphere to be around. It's a lot of work, but I can't imagine there's anything you're going to do nowadays that's worth it that doesn't come with some hard work.
Right.
Like, this is not a knock on any other profession that you can be in, but like, I know of a lot of things that are a lot less fun than potentially bartending and almost feeling like you're just hanging out with friends, making drinks, watching games, like almost like a mini party that you're throwing yourself, where you're like the host of it when you're sitting behind the bar. We can always use great personalities in that capacity. And then there's a lot of leadership potential in a restaurant business too. Like, I've got one of my wife's cousins, my cousin now, he's one of my managers out in Grosse Pointe, doing a great job. Never really was in the restaurant business, but started kind of in the kitchen helping us expedite food. And, as food comes up for the customers, like, they make sure it's all on one tray and out quick so it doesn't get cold. Excelled in that, like, really started to love the atmosphere of the restaurant. And now he's one of my main managers there, and he's doing a great job. So, and it's, once again, it's nice to get back to the community. Yeah, Navin Araha.
All right.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. And did the employment perks include being able to swing a little bit on the simulators?
Absolutely, yeah. If you want to get a job there for a few days a week and parlay that into some golf training, by all means, like, we're open to it. Yeah.
How busy are the simulators now?
The simulators are picking up. We actually have leagues that just started.
Oh, really?
League information will be on like our Instagram and on our website.
What is somebody that wants to form a league? How would they go about doing that?
You can reach out to me directly. I'll make sure I leave my contact info.
You can say it if you want.
Yeah, Mark Adamo, you can reach me at mark@sidecarsliderbar.com. And then I'll get you in touch with my partner, John or Nick, who run the kind of golf and restaurant side at the Sterling Heights location. If you want to start your very own league, we have a few days that we can offer you in time slots.
Yeah.
And then your league would obviously fit into any of those slots. We know not everybody can make it at the same time, so we offer multiple settings for them to be able to come in and shoot their round for that week. And then we're also doing like pop-in leagues where it's like, hey, maybe you and I want to get in the league, but we don't know enough people. So it's like, we just pop in, we can create our own team and kind of go.
Very cool.
So you probably wouldn't be very good. I don't know if you're I'm not a good golfer.
No.
Yeah,
no, not a good golfer.
Big handicap.
Yeah, me too. The other way though, not in the good
not in the good
sense.
Way.
Yeah. So what else do we need to cover? Anything? We good?
Come
on out.
Come on out. Give us a shot at least. And at least at the other locations, like I mentioned earlier, and I don't want to keep beating on this, but I know our people know the Birmingham area, and this is a phenomenon. We're in downtown Birmingham right now. It's a great area, but you'd be surprised at how much fun you can have kind of creating the environment with your group.
Sure.
Especially in our Grosse Pointe Shift location. Very intimate setting. Like, you can bring out a group to celebrate a party. We've done a lot of birthday parties for our people, and like whether they're directly related to me or they just stumbled upon us. There's the hospital right down the street there. A lot of our people work at that hospital, and they've done some corporate events now out of that space. It's a lot of fun. We do live music during the week on occasions, and if that's something that you wanted to be a part of your gathering in your evening, like we have no problem setting that up. You just reach out to the location. My general manager will connect with you. We'll find out what date and time you want to come in, and we'll make sure your experience is great.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us. We have Sidecar right here, the man, Mark Adamo. give it a try. Pop into Sterling Heights and see what's going on. Right. Pop into Grosse Pointe and see what's going on. Shift, Sidecar, First Cut. Yep. Rock and roll, baby.
Love to have you. Thank you so much, Anthony.